Hello and welcome to RNB Fusion podcast. Now, if you like your podcast with a bit of fruity language and some adult themes, then look no further. This is the podcast for you. However, if you don't, then you might want to go and look on like BBC Radio 4 or CBeebies or something along those lines. You didn't have a farm, Ben?
Paul was an alien. There you go. Done.
It's an egg.
Is it an egg? Hashtag legend.
Because Jif is that cleaner or the polisher, whatever it is. Hello there. Let's cause divide in the world, Ben.
Go back in time and get a load of Bitcoin.
I was a rebel, man. You know, the system couldn't hold me down. How's it going, fellow listeners? Welcome back to RNB Fusion podcast with your co-host, Ross, and my fellow co-host,
Benni Boi.
How are we, Ben? How's your week been?
I'm good, Ross. How are you?
I'm good. I'm happy. Just enjoying everything at the moment, knowing that lockdown is soon to be ending. That has been keeping me going these last few weeks. When Boris Johnson announced it a few weeks ago, saying, ladies and gentlemen, on the 21st of August, life will be normal. I am very happy and very excited.
Hopefully. I'm just leaving it there. Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. Here's praying. Here's hoping that it doesn't get pushed back further, because I cannot wait to see like you in person. I cannot wait to see friends and family in person and actually be within the close proximity of them, hugging them, going to the pub, enjoying some time, getting back on the ice and ice skating. My heart's content. I've missed so many things in this lockdown.
It's going to be weird, isn't it? You know, It really is just those things, those things you can do and like, you know, back to the norm. It'll be strange to start off with.
Well, yeah, I think it's going to be crazy. It's going to be weird. I think everything's going to be booked to the rafters. Like you ain't going to be able to sit in a pub for the first 12 months. Then you ain't going to be able to go to a shop for another 6 months because it'll all be rammed. It's going to be weird. Like I was saying this to a friend not long ago. It's quite a weird prospect to think of that one day we're going to be able to walk into shops not wearing masks, not having to social distance, not having to follow a one-way system. Which, if you think about, we've done that for years and years before up until this point. But because we've lived in this routine of not doing that for so long, I think, yeah, it's going to be very weird to go back to normality.
Yeah, but definitely looking forward to it. And if anyone needs a DJ when we're out of lockdown, just give us a bell.
That's it. See, there you go. That's it. Because let's be honest, all the weddings are going to happen. Every festival's going to happen. Birthday parties are going to happen. Anniversaries that were missed in lockdown are going to happen. So yeah, hit him up. And if you need a videographer, hit me up at Firework Films. That's the way to do it, because guess what? I'm your man for it. Igniting your vision. My slight little lad in our pod.
You've got to plug it. Come on, you've got to push it.
Yeah, that's it, man. But I tell you, one thing I am looking forward to coming out of lockdown is holidays.
Yes.
Which we are talking about tonight. We are talking all about holidays. And as I just said, I'm looking forward to getting on a beach, getting in the sun, lapping it up and letting all the cares and forget the last 12 months ever existed. So holidays, they can be a simple bus travel to the beach. It could be a caravan holiday, a tenting holiday, or it could be the luxury of going abroad and experiencing a new culture, new weather, and then complaining that you got sunburnt to a crisp because you haven't got the right factor suntan lotion. But that's holidays for you as a Brit. I tell you, holidays are one of my favourite things. I mean, as a kid, like when we had school holidays, when you're told, you got the Easter holidays, you got half term, and then you had the big one, the 6 weeks holiday where you knew you were going on a big holiday. So as an adult, I've really missed that aspect of having 6 weeks, because let's be honest, as an adult, you don't get that much time off anymore. And if you do, you are lucky. But yeah, holidays, I've got to admit, I've just missed being on a plane, to be honest. I just miss that feeling.
Yeah, I think when you get a bit older, I think you appreciate it a lot more compared. You take it for granted, you know, when you're at school and that, and then when you are a bit older and you just get so many holidays, like you said, you appreciate it. You know, spending it with your family and friends, and just going to that special place you've booked wherever you're going on holiday. So, it's all something good to look for. And you've always got that countdown app on your phone.
Yeah, the one where it's like just ticking away every day up until that holiday. And it's when you're at work and you keep looking at it and it says 90 days, 40 days, 2 weeks left. And then it's when it gets to that one day and it's that whole hectic week running up to your holiday. I mean, I miss that chaos as well. I miss that whole pandemonium that just happens in your house where you're trying to sort everything. You're like, oh, I've got this packed, I've got this. Right, Ross, you need to remember you got this and this. And then you got your parents or you got your friends go, right, have we got this? Have we got the ticket? You're like, I don't know. I don't know who I am. I don't even know if I packed an extra pair of socks for the son. Like, it's a very stressful ordeal. Like, it really feels like that when you go on holiday, you have to build up as much stress as possible, even in the airport, trying to get on the plane, all that. And then soon as you're off the plane, and then get to your hotel, that's when all the stress just disappears. And it's a wonderful feeling.
As soon as you've got your luggage and you walk through that door and you're like, taxi! That's it.
Yeah. You're like, taxi! Right. Or if you're in a different country, you're like, El Taxi? Taxi-o? Yellow car? Cab?
But it is everything you go through. I mean, are you organised? Do you get your suitcase down like a month before, 2 weeks before, or is it just
a month?
Day before? I don't know. I mean, people are organised here. I mean, some people do that,
I see. The thing is, when I pack for my holidays, I like to pack it I like to space it out over the week. So I like to do maybe I say, right, I'll put all my socks and pants in today. Then tomorrow I'll start getting the T-shirts together because I'm one of these people that I have so many T-shirts, but I'll probably wear the same 5 or 6 every week because, they're easy to grab and you think, I like this T-shirt. So I have to kind of space them out. So, I know that I've got this. But I think the most stressful thing for me is trying to remember all my camera gear because, I'm one of these people that when they're on holiday, I take my DSLR camera, so my big lovely picture camera, and then I take my GoPro for when I do a lot of snorkeling or if I'm doing anything quite action activity. So like when I went to Fuerteventura 2 years ago, I brought my GoPro and I used it when I went snorkeling, when I went on dune buggies, and then a year before when I was in Florida, I used it when I was on the roller coasters and all that. So it's tough for me in that retrospect, trying to remember which bits of gear I've got, whether all the batteries are charged, leaving them to the last minute to charge, then charging them in the car, getting to the hotel, making sure that everything's working. Yeah, it's a very tech-heavy holiday for me, I must say.
It must be fun going through security for you, Ross, with all that.
Oh, yeah, it's a pain.
Separating it all out, that's my GoPro, there's my laptop, my smartphone. Oh, I forgot my belt, 1 minute. There you go.
Do you know what? The amount of times I've done that through security check-ins and, because I carry just one bag and I put all my stuff in there, it's separating it because you have to split your cameras up from your bags. And I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, I'm so thankful for the security trying to protect all, but bloody hell, it's half a farce. But honestly, the amount of times I'll leave like a ring on or I leave my belt on or I leave like my phone in my pocket on accident and then it starts going off and I'm thinking, God. But there's a funny theme you're saying about that security aspect. There's a funny common theme that runs in my family, which is whenever we all go through security, at least one of our bags always gets picked for the random search, and it's always my mum.
Okay.
Like, no, I just want to put it out. My mum's not a shifty person at all. She doesn't look shifty at all, but it's always her that gets checked. Like, they have to do that Invisibles, like UV, like alcohol test swab, and then they always extra scan it and stuff. Like, honestly, it's always her. Like, the rest of us kind of get through. I think I've had it happen to me like once or twice, but yeah, just when you leave that airport and the heat hits you out that window, wherever you are, especially like if you're in Florida where it's very humid and you just feel it hit you, like you can smell the humidity. It's that strong.
Yeah.
And you just sit there and think, oh, I've got 3 weeks of this bliss. What about you, Ben? What are you like when you organise for your holiday?
Well, I like to be organised. We'll get the suitcase out, probably week before. Sort of, it's like playing Tetris, trying to get all your stuff in your suitcase.
Oh, yeah.
Come on now. So, you got to be organised. So, and then, you just got to wait a couple of times, make sure you're make sure you're under that, 22 kg.
And the thing is, you'll always wait like 3 or 4 times and it'll always change. You're like, why is it suddenly gained 4 pounds? Why is it suddenly lost 2 kilos? What's going on? What is the right weight?
and then someone says, well, that's your fault. You put that in that suitcase. And you're like, well, don't put it in then, But no, it's, like I say, I like it nice and organised in there, and then just make sure I've got it all zipped up night before or whenever, then just chuck it in the taxi, and then off you go. Going through security, I mean, are you that type of person who goes through the fast track, or are you that person who stands and waits and then stares at the people who go fast track and go, I wish I was in that queue?
Oh, see, well, for me, it's always been tough, because sometimes we've had the fast track sort of thing, so you can we've already done our check-in online.
Yes.
But other times, we've kind of waited in the queue. But let's be honest, we're British, so we like to queue. Queuing is our favourite thing to do. So for us, it's kind of like an amusement park.
Yeah,
if you think about it. Yeah, we do. Like, the Brits are the best at queuing. Honestly, I think when people go on holiday, their holiday gets fully exciting when they have to do the check-in, do the security, do all that because of queuing. Everyone loves to queue. But it's when you're on the plane then. It's when you're finally getting in and you're in your seats. I think the thing that always makes me laugh is you always have the stewardess who looks at your ticket and goes, oh, it's down there. And then she's looking at it, oh, it's down there. Like, she's directing you down this metal cylinder. Like you're going to end up somewhere else. Going, oh, it's down that way. It's down that way. Like, one time she's going to go, oh, it's actually this way. But
I'm sitting with the pilot.
Yeah, right. You're the co-pilot for this journey. I've never flown in my life, actually. Thank you. Well, today is the day. Enjoy your holiday.
I've done 20 hours of simulation. I should be fine.
When you're on a flight, though, it is such a tough thing to do at times, because if it's like a 2-hour flight, it's all right. But when it's 5 hours, like, trying to keep yourself entertained for that, or a lot of the time, let's be honest, we all just say, oh, right, I'll go and have a nap. And when I wake up, we'll be there. A lot of time when you've napped, you wake up and you're like, oh, how long's left the flight? Oh, 4 hours. And you're like, oh, I can't sleep anymore. I want to sleep more, but I can't.
I think the process for when you go on a flight now is, you normally get that person who goes, who has a look and go, oh, I hope I'm not sitting next to them, and there's, and then it's when you're walking on and finding your seat, there's probably someone in your seat, and you're like, excuse me, she says, oh, is this your seat? Well, there's 3 of us, there's 3 seats.
There's 3 of us, there's 3 seats. Hang on, well, I'm in this one. No, you're not. You're in 17, which is down there. This is number 2. How have you got them 2 mixed up, pal?
It's when they go, do you want to swap? No, because I paid for the seat. Why do you want to swap? It's got leg room.
There's the cheek of some people on flights. Like, there's so many, like you said there's so many different type of people on the flights. So the ones who want to swap your seats for you, who go, I prefer it up here. And you're like, well, no, the reason we want to sit here is because we picked them.
Yes, that's it.
It's not like a bus where you can sit wherever you want. We've got set seats here, pal. But another thing that baffles me is, you always have the people when you see them with the kids. Now, I have nothing against kids whatsoever, but as you're an adult, like, you kind of understand why people don't like kids on flights, and it's because you look at them, they'll kick the back of your chair all the way there, and then you'll always get a crying baby in the back. Is going, You're thinking, oh my God, this flight is so long right now, and you look at it and you go, it's only a 2-hour flight.
It normally happens. You got a crying baby 2 rows in front or 3 rows behind you. You got someone on the other side, opposite you, who won't shut up talking. But most of the majority of people, when you look around, I think because of the stress, what people go through, and they get themselves a bit wound up, they've got to be up early, probably because of the flight. A lot of people are asleep now.
I know. That's the thing, though, and I quite like that. I quite like that aspect, is when majority of the people are asleep. Like, one of the things I've always remembered from when you're on holiday is always the travel back home. And I remember one flight, you were coming home from Florida, and, you got the holiday blues, and you're thinking, God, I want to be back there already. I don't want to be flying home. And we were flying at night, and, everyone was out cold, and, all the cabins had turned the lights off. And I remember I was sat there playing my PSP. I just remember how quiet it was. And it was so blissful. Like, my mum and dad were asleep. My brother was asleep. And honestly, it was the weirdest thing ever because you think about how many people are on this flight and it's just quiet. There is no better feeling than when you're on holiday, you've arrived at your hotel, you've settled in, you've unpacked a bit, you go downstairs and you think, right, we're going to have a day just at the hotel, just to lounge around, take it easy. And it's when you're in the hot sun and you just fall asleep and you just think, this is heaven right now.
Yes, yeah. I mean, you can fall asleep on a sunbed and listen to RNB Fusion podcast. There you go.
That's it. What a better way to take us on your holidays this year, even though you're probably thinking, why would I want to listen to that on my holidays? Like you said earlier, when you get there at your hotel and you're just trying to sort everything out, it is quite mad. So just before when you can finally lie down and nap your way through the holiday, it's that whole when you're getting on the coach to your hotel, getting off, checking in, finding your hotel, finding your room, trying to wonder where and sometimes you can't check in for like another 2 hours or something, so you sat around the pool with all your suitcases and you're in your joggers because you thought, I want to be comfy on the plane, and you're sitting there sweltering. It's something else. But honestly, I've missed holidays so much. I missed the whole, like I said, I missed the whole ordeal.
Yeah, it's everything. Let's just take it back just a little bit. When do you relax? Is it soon as the door opens when you've got to your destination? I mean, people panic because there's about 10 people on the plane. As soon as you've landed, that seatbelt signs, said you can take it off. There's 10 people who rush to the door because they want to get the luggage. Are you that person who's just nice and smooth, just walks there? You're not that person on the line. Stand on the line. That's not my suitcase. That's not it. And then you got that person who looks through. Where's the suitcases? Are they coming yet? No, they're not. Wait, all right? It's you have all that. I think it's like it happens on every holiday you go on. There's always that 10% who do that. And then they normally rush to the belt to get the suitcases, and they're the last ones to get it. Yeah,
honestly, the amount of people I see doing that. So, for me personally, I'm one of those people. As soon as that seatbelt sign comes on, we wait. We wait until majority of the people have gone. So then it gives us time to get our luggage off, and it gives us time for our cases to have hit the conveyor belt. Yeah. Now, when we go up to the conveyor belt, I'm always the one who goes because I'm quite good at spotting ours, because we've all got individual tags that we've put on. So we've marked them so we know what they are. So like my mum's put like glitter pens all over the handles and stuff, and put extra tags on so we know. And like one year, when I think it was Fuerteventura, my mum had actually taken some shopping bags from when we were in Florida and wrapped them around the handles, and it made them stand out so much. I mean, it looked really tatty, but honest to God, I could identify them without anything. But going back to that plane situation where everyone gets up, I've never understood why everyone has to get up. As soon as that belt sign goes, ping, I don't understand why everyone has to undo it and it has to bout out as quickly as possible. Like, I'm not being funny. The island is not going anywhere. Yeah. It will still be there if you take it off now or in about 5 minutes' time. Yeah. You are not going anywhere quicker. The coaches aren't here yet. Your luggage ain't going to be there yet. You've also then got to go through all the other bits and bobs. But another thing that bugs me when you're saying that when people are getting off the plane is when the plane lands, everyone goes,
yay! It's like that, isn't it?
I find it really odd why you would clap him. Like, that's the equivalent of when somebody in Tesco's, they scan the items and have done all of them. You're going, well done for scanning those items. You've done really well today. It's a weird thing. And I've experienced it on quite a few flights. And I always say to mum and dad, I go, but why are they clapping him? Why are they clapping the pilot?
It's weird. Certain airlines, I'm not going to mention them, but there's one airline, when they land, it has like a horn, like siren goes off and goes, 97% of the flights land on time. Just, well, good. That's why I'm here.
Good. I'm glad my holiday starts in time when I paid for. Thank you.
That's it. I mean, come on, just open the doors, let all these people get off, I'll get off, Yeah. It's when they rush down the stairs as well. You're thinking, well, you're going to just slip down there. Go on, you go first, break your hip, I can go past you then, come on.
I know, like, honestly, I think you saying that about how an airline has like this klaxon noise, There's one, and everyone who's listened to this pod will know which airline I'm on about when I say this, and you will, without even mentioning them. It's when you get on the flight and when you get in your land, they always play Darling Hold My Hand.
Yeah.
Darling Hold My Hand. And it's not even like the full song. It's like this small clip repeated and repeated. And honest to God, even as much as I'm missing holidays and I would happily have that in my life right now, honest to God, it just annoys me so much because it gets stuck in your head, and then throughout your whole holiday you're going, darling, hold my hand, and you start doing it and you're like, I don't want to sing this, I want to sing the whole song if I'm good at it. But yeah, so listeners, you know what I'm on about, you know the exact airline I am talking about. But I've never understood it, and I've never understood when everyone has to rush to the coach as well, because let's be honest, if you're not hiring a car and you've bought a package holiday where you get travel to and from the airport included, a lot of people will run there straight away so they can get a seat. And I'm thinking, I'm not being funny, this one's going to have to do about 6-7 drop-offs at a different hotel. So all you're doing is you're going to sit in a warm car for the equivalent of potentially 30 minutes. Do you really want that? Wouldn't you want to enjoy the sun a bit? And then when the driver goes, right, we're heading off, then jump in? Because that's what I do. I try to get my tan on whilst I'm there. Start getting the layer.
Yeah, just get a bit of crisp before I get on the coach. Come on.
Oh, yeah, I can't tan, though. No matter where I go, I just don't tan. I just burn. No matter what I do.
What factor do you use? Suntan cream, come on.
Factor 420.
Oh, really?
I'm just kidding. I use factor 30. The Irish in me is... Obviously, because I'm quite pale, I will burn. But it doesn't matter what factor I use, I will always burn. It's ridiculous.
Okay.
Now, sometimes I can get tanned on my shoulders from when I'm in and out of the water, because I love being in the water, especially on holiday, like especially in the sea where it's crystal clear, like warm bath water in that sense. And yeah, and obviously sometimes I get a bit of a tan because of the reflection from that and then the sun being on it. But otherwise, I just burn.
Yeah, and there's always that one person when you're coming back, you're going home, and you get on the plane and they're just red because they're not bothered to like put anything on.
Well, that's it. Like you can tell when the Brits are on tour because they all look like those squashies. Yeah. Like they're all red arms, white bodies.
Yeah. There's always one in the group who wears an England top.
That's how you know the English are on holiday, is they have to state it by wearing their favourite football team or wearing an England kit to prove that they're from England, like everyone's asking. Like, you don't see the Spanish come to London and wearing a Spanish kit, or you don't see, like, somebody from Uganda wearing a Ugandan kit. Like, it's really odd that the British do that. I mean, I put my hands up. I always take a football top with me. And now the reason I do is because obviously the way the design is to help wick sweat and be very vented in a sense. And I've got to admit, that's the reason why I take them. And it sounds really poncy in that sense, but I just don't enjoy the drinking holidays. Hence the reason why I've never done a trip to Zante, why I've never gone to Ayia Napa, why I have never really gone abroad to go to these big drinking continents as they are. I just enjoy learning about the old towns. I love learning about why they're there, learning about how they became and the little hidey holes in the places. And I just it saddens me sometimes when I think of like the likes of Benidorm, for instance, is that very heavy British, have a fry up. I don't want a fry up. I want a fry up. I'll just stay at home and go to a cafe. You know what I mean? I think that's something. Ben, would you go on a drinking holiday, or would you prefer to go on a holiday where you're just enjoying being in the place and learning about its history?
I've been on drinking holidays. I went to Magaluf, but I do like just a relaxing holiday and like you've just said, just experience the culture and all that. I mean, I like both of them, but more just a relaxing holiday, really.
How was it? How different was it for a relaxing holiday comparing to like Magaluf when you went?
You can always tell on a drinking holiday when you sit round the pool who the new guests are. Because they've got the most energy. Because most people are like, on a sunbed, like recovering, and they're like, yeah, they've arrived today. They've definitely arrived today. It's a mixture of things, you go and get out drinking. you're going out to the early hours of the morning. Obviously, that's the culture. But, and it's your body clock recovering, and you recover around the pool. Someone forgets to put suntan cream on, and they're red raw by the end of the day. I think with a clubbing holiday, when you sit on the plane, you just fall asleep because you're like, I can relax now. You can shut down.
Yeah.
It's not intense, but if you think about it, if you're going to go out drinking maybe 5 nights out of the 7 you're there, I mean, obviously the other 2 days you've got there and you're coming home. It is pretty full on, and it can be a big toll on your body, depending who you are. I mean, when you're young, you can handle it. You just got to know your limit. And the downsides of a drinking holiday is when you're walking on the strip, wherever it is, you've always got that one person who's in the gutter being sick, or there's someone on the bench like who looks like they peaked too soon and they've conked out. You've got a $1 pizza slice place, and it's like, yeah, and you're thinking, where's that pizza been? But we've all been there. We've had that pizza. And I mean, when we went on a clubbing holiday, some of us came back early. I was asleep, and I was sharing a room with 2 other of my mates, and they just burst in, and literally they were hyper. They just jumped on my bed, and I was like, I just got to sleep, and I'm just like, and then literally the next morning, there's always someone who's got a 5-litre, water, like bottled water.
Yeah.
I'm never drinking again, and then you see him out again the next night. It's mad. I mean, it's a great time because in one way you're letting off all your steam. You're going to see some big names. When I went, it was Magaluf, BCM, it was Labyrinth, Earthquake, all that. There was BDI, there loads of good artists. The only thing I was gutted about was Avicii was there, but
really?
Avicii was there at BCM, but he was there on the day I arrived, and I was going home on the day he was going to perform again. So I was like, so unfortunately, I missed him. But yeah, and again, with the drinking side of things, you can get a wristband, and you can go in certain clubs, and all your drinks are on this wristband. So like, just show them it, and you can have as much as you want. And I think that's where people peak too soon, because they go too hard on the first one, and then you see someone dragging them to the next one. So it's just what floats your boat, I mean, I had a good time. I knew my limits. I didn't want to push them. I don't like to push my limits. I mean, we've all been there, don't get me wrong, where we've gone overboard.
Oh yeah, 100%.
When I'm in a new place, I don't, and I'm on holiday, I want to have a drink, but I want to get to that point where, yeah, that's enough, and I can walk home. It's just the only thing I would say is, when you go on a club and holiday, people, just make sure you're safe. Make sure you go out with someone. Don't fall out with your mate halfway throughout the night. Yes, it does happen, but make sure you stick with them. Go back to the hotel. Never be by yourself. That's the only thing I'll say.
Oh yeah, like there's nothing worse, especially when you're in a foreign country that you don't know. Like if you've been a fair few times, you know where you're staying. You've been there maybe 4 or 5 times. And fair enough, you can be on your own at that kind of point. But even then, I wouldn't want to. It's you don't know where you are at that point. You don't have anybody around you who you know. And I think, yeah, it can be quite a scary prospect. That's the reason why I've never done it. It's such a scary prospect for me. I could never do that in a foreign country. Like, it's all right when you're in a different town in England because you're always with your mates no matter what. And especially if you go to another town with your mates or to another city centre, you're always with them. But yeah, it's especially in a foreign country, yeah. And also, I just feel like, for me personally, I feel like it's a waste of a holiday because you're so hammered and hungover that you don't want to do anything. So you just want to sit in bed all day. And when you do go out in the sun, you feel sick because you're like, oh, I can't cope with this. Everyone eats their own. So Ben, going off that, where is your favourite place to go in the world? Like, what has been your favourite holiday?
Favourite holiday? Oh, I'm going to say America, because we went we went a couple of times and we did some a little bit of travelling, so we saw quite a few different spots, and it was such a lovely time. We did Route 66, and we
I'm jealous. I want to do Route 66.
We had the first time we went, we had a Dodge Charger.
Oh, Ben, this is my holiday.
It was just lovely. It was and just cruising. But when we went, we didn't have a sat nav, so I was checking the map. I was like, yeah, we're on the right road. Go down here. This is it. But obviously now you can just go, yeah, bang bang. I want to go there. It's I mean bang bang in your sat nav, by the way.
Yeah.
So it was a lovely experience. But I think I appreciate it more now I'm older. I think don't get me wrong, people go at all ages, but I think when you a little bit older, you do appreciate those type of holidays. And we went to the Grand Canyon.
Oh,
we went to we went to all over. I can't name all the places, but we went to a fair few places. Then on the second time, we did a bit more traveling. Then we went over to Canada.
Oh, nice! I've always wanted to go to Canada.
Yeah, we saw Niagara Falls. That's very spectacular. It's really weird though because we went through the border. And we literally just turned a corner. We're like, oh, it's there. Literally, Niagara Falls. But there's so many places to see in America. I think that's why I would like to go back and I would like to do some more travelling. But as well, I do like the Canary Islands as well. I mean, that's up there because that's more like a family holiday and that. But I definitely want to do some more travelling when we're out of this situation we're in. At the minute,
100%, yeah.
For sure. It's I think you can always find something new even when you go somewhere you've been 10 20 times. There's always something new to have a look at and go and have a look if one as you would say. But what about you, Ross? What's your favourite place to go?
Oh, it's quite tough because like you said, I've always wanted to go on Route 66 of America. I've always wanted to experience that side of America. But I think the best holiday I've ever been on is going to Florida. I mean, I've had so many memories there. Like I've been really lucky. I've been 4 times now. Yeah, so I went when I was 5, then I went when I was 6, then I went when I was 12, and then I went in 2017. Was it 2017? Yes, 2017. So I would have been, 22, something like that. And no matter what, you still appreciate it. Like, as a kid, you appreciate, oh my God, I'm at Disney World and there's all these little things. Like, there's so many characters, all real. And then when you're a little bit older, so in your teenage, you're like, oh yeah, I'm really appreciating the idea and, going on these, I can go on the big rides finally. And then as an adult, you really appreciate how incredible that place is. Like, even I'm not the world's biggest Disney fan at all. Walking in there, you just forget about the world. You just forget that there's a world outside. Like, you just feel like you're living in Disney, and it's so weird. I think it's just so vast. Like, the theme parks are so big in every single one of them. But I think, I remember, what was it? The Animal Kingdom's the one I remember very fondly of the most recent trip, was because we went and it was when Pandora had just opened. So the Avatar, the world of Avatar as it is. And they had all the actual pieces of land floating. And I was looking everywhere for these cranes. I was looking for metal strings floating out of the sky, poles holding them up. You couldn't see anything. And you're sitting there going, how are they doing this? How are they making a massive piece of rock float? Like, and it's incredible when you think about like the whole process of it. I mean, I also love the fact of when we went back to Disney at that point as well, we went to Epcot. So, we go for 3 weeks because we do 2 weeks of Disney and then we do a week of Universal, because then we can have days off in between where we sit at home in the villa, sit in the pool, near the pool, and you can go and explore like the shops and different places. And I remember when we went to Epcot, they have like these masks. When you go around the world, you can have like these masks that you can get them stamped and stuff, and you can draw on them. And when we got to Epcot, I think it was like our second time we went, because we were going to go around the whole world instead of just focusing one area of the park. And I remember when I was a kid, I did it with the passports. My brother, he picked up one of the masks to have them all stamped. And this woman went, do you want to do one too? And I was stood there at 22 going, can I? Like, really excited. So I started drawing. I put it, and I was making sure I was getting it stamped. And honestly, you just feel like a kid again. And I love that because, as you grow up, you kind of reminisce about those days as a kid. And Disney can just inflict that straight back into you. Like, when we went and it was coming towards the nighttime, like, they have the best firework display shows I've ever seen ever. Like, they are on another level. So we went and they had all the big fireworks shows. They have them at every single park every night. And yeah, we were at the Epcot at this point, and honest to God, it was absolutely amazing. Like they turned off all the lights of every street, and they started firing them, and it was just magical. And like I said, you just honestly, you just feel like a big kid, and I love that because I've always believed that you've got to keep that kid inside you alive. And when you're there, and you're just like, yeah, I want to do this, I want to do that, yeah. Like, it's great. And honestly, as much as I love going to places where you learn about the culture and stuff, don't get me wrong, I just love being a kid and going to Disney. Like I said, I think the sad thing about holidays is it's when it comes to your final day and everyone goes, right, guys, what are we going to do on the last day? And you're like, let's just not talk about it.
I think it's that deep breath,
Yeah.
Like it's your last day. We've got, we're going now.
Yeah, and a lot of the time, when your last day, you often sit around the pool. You sit around the pool in your hotel or in your villa, wherever you are. You just kind of think and go, that was a good holiday. You think, this is my relaxing moment. I mean, on one of my last days on the holiday in Fuerteventura, I went dune buggying. So the next day we were leaving at I think it was 11 o'clock in the morning. So our last proper day, we went dune buggying, and honest to God, it was amazing. The guy, we went the day before and you needed a driver's license, and I couldn't prove that I had a driver's license because, again, no wallet. So anyway, so I went round with my dad and it was okay. And then we went back the next day and I said, Mum, I'll pay. Can we go, please? And she went, yeah, okay, cool. So we went, and this guy, he put me in the buggy with my brother, and he says, right, you can go at the back and you can drop back and enjoy yourself. And I thought, really? And he said, yeah. He said, it's your last day. He says, I know you're going to be safe. I know you're not going to be stupid. He says, but, you can really get some force into it, experience the speed of it. And it was like a tour as well. I tell you, going on the dirt, though, the amount of times me and my brother, I was drifting it, I was spinning it, and I was just enjoying it. Like, there's so much GoPro footage of me go, woo! Like, and you can see me, like, just, like, drifting this buggy. It was wicked. But, yeah, I think, like I said earlier, it was then after that I realised and went, it's the last day. And you kind of have to start, it's horrible because you start getting these thoughts of, I've got to go back to work.
Yeah.
Got to do this, got to do that.
Yeah, everyone starts sighing. You got to pack your suitcase. You got to go back you're going back to the airport. You got to go through that whole process.
The whole process with extra alcohol in your life.
Yeah. Oh no, but I think it's just as much fun, really entertaining. I mean, when you're going home, because when you get there, I mean, depending on what's going on, when you arrive to the airport, or let's say one of your party needs to go to the toilet, so you're waiting. If you're not in that queue and the coach comes, you're at the back. You're queuing outside.
Honestly, it's the TV series 24. It goes boom, boom. And he has like a timer in the middle. That's like the countdown towards a coach, and there'll be always something that happens. You'll be like, I need the toilet, I need to do this, I need to, and yeah, it is like pushing time, and it's so crazy. But like you said, it's when you get into the airport and you have to go through security again, and you do all that, and then you get into the customs, and you can obviously you can do all your duty frees and all this. But yeah, there's always that time where I sit in the airport and I'm just like you get proper holiday blues. I don't know about you. I get really bad holiday blues.
Yeah,
even if I'm still there and I'm just about to leave, I just sit there and think, that went too quick.
Yeah, it's you do. It's you're just sitting there and you're thinking, I'm going back to work tomorrow.
Oh, don't. That makes me feel sick. Like when I was working at Nando's, I had the luxury when I was in Florida. I had holiday pay, so I was getting paid holiday pay whilst on holiday. So, I was having a little bit of extra spending money. And I remember when I got back and, I just thought, a few weeks ago I was on holiday.
Yeah, that's it. Literally, you'd be like, this time last week I was sitting on the beach. It's literally like that, and everyone does that.
I think the worst, though, is especially if you've been in a completely different time zone. So I'm talking not like an hour or two ahead, but I'm talking like if you're 5 hours behind or you're like 12 hours ahead. So you've been to Australia, you come back. It's when you're going to work the next day and you're thinking, I need sleep.
Yeah, your body clock, it's like, I'm shutting down. And you're like, I need to get up.
Well, that's it, because you're trying to beat it, so you go back onto another time, your own time zone. I remember I met up with a mate when I got back from Florida, and I remember sitting there, and he was like, "You all right, Russ?" I went, "Yeah, I'm just knackered, mate." I said, "Jet lag's hit me really bad." It's a weird jet lag is weird. It's like a hangover, but without the headache or anything. It's just you feel tired all the time, and then when you get back onto your own time scale, it's you're sitting there thinking, right, I'm back. But I think it's always a sad thing when you're leaving, especially when you're on that plane and you're kind of sat there with your thoughts on the holiday going, that was a good holiday. And you always, especially if you're with your parents or if you're with your friends and stuff, you're like, that was a good holiday, wasn't it? Yeah, it was really, really good. Yeah. Should we do that again? Yeah, let's do it next year. And you're thinking, a year.
Yeah.
A year.
A year, yes. 365 days left to go.
Or if you booked it in 2019 for 2020, you've got, it's only a year. And you're sitting there going, it's only another 7 years. It's only another 7 years.
Yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Just literally, when you're coming home, you can have a bit of fun because when you go through security again, there's always that one person who's bringing back something they shouldn't. They've got some spirits and that security guy is like, no, you can't take this. And then they're smiling because they're probably thinking, I can have this later. So no, it's something like that.
And they always buy too many ciggies because of the duty frees and the tax-free haven. And then they come back and they're like, actually, you can't have these.
No. Last time I went on holiday, everyone got made to go into this room. It was a big room, by the way. It was just and all the suitcases were being scanned. And this one person they put on and they opened it and there's cigarettes galore, and they bought some more on the plane, and they were like, I didn't know, and the person sorting out was like, well, you got to pay tax on it. And he says, it's this. So no, you can leave it. No, you can leave it. I'm not paying that. I says, we'll seize this.
That's it though, and people forget though. People forget that you're going to get hit with custom charges. I mean, it's the same as if you order something from another country and you get it delivered to England or wherever you are. You always get hit. You have to work out what the custom charges and the duty tax and the VAT is because you're going to get hit with it. Like, you bought those ciggies in Tenerife for the equivalent of 10 quid. You come back, you've also got to think then they're going to have to put the VAT on. It could end up being about 40 to 60 quid. And you're thinking, it ain't worth it. I've got another 14,000 at home from my last holiday.
Yeah, that'll keep me going. I'll wait.
I remember that room, though. And the reason being is, so me and my brother, we were walking back from Tenerife after coming home from a weekend with my mum. So we went for the Easter break. We came home and we're, pulling our luggage. And I said, do you enjoy Tenerife, Liam? Yeah, it was great. Anyway, this security, like the customs guy, looked at us and he went, excuse me. He says, where have you just come from? And he said, it's my brother. And my brother went, and I was like, we've literally just been talking about where we've just come from. Anyway, and he goes, right, can you just come into this room? And I'm thinking, Jesus, Liam, you had one job. You had one job to just say where we came from. You wouldn't be searched. Anyway, just searching. I'm sitting there thinking, I've got 2 big bottles of alcohol in here. I knew the limit was 10, but I wasn't sure if that was on certain things or I was thinking just, is it going to be okay? Anyway, and, we got through it all fine and stuff, but it was just, I remember saying to my brother after I went, we've literally just been talking, we've just come in from Tenerife and you forgot when you were asked.
My mate did that when I went to my first clubbing holiday. We were in Boots and you have to give them your boarding card when you're paying for stuff. The person asked my mate, saying, so where are you flying to? And he just turned to me and went, where are we going? I was like, mate, come on. We're going to Fellaraki, come on. I was just like, oh, yeah, we're going there. I was like, and she just looked at him going, really?
But honestly, I just love holidays. And I think tonight we've talked so much about holidays to the point now I want to book a holiday, but I just want lockdown and this whole coronavirus pandemic just to be over because I want to go on holiday. And after talking about it tonight, I'm dreaming of them. I'm just dreaming of holidays.
Yeah, it's. I definitely want to book one now for sure. 2022, I think.
Yeah. So, well, if everything goes according to plan and things all stay okay, we could have a holiday this August potentially. But like we said earlier, let's just hold it with bated breath. We've been there before. We've been here before, ladies and gentlemen. I can't be doing it again, but honestly, I just can't wait for that. Like I said earlier, that feeling of either camping with my mates or going on holiday with my pals or just going abroad with friends or family and just experiencing that heat, sitting on a beach and just letting the problems of the world just slip away.
It's lovely. It's lovely, isn't it? It's just everyone knows what we're on about.
Yeah.
But if you've not been on holiday yet, you will understand when you have that.
Yeah, like if you've not been on holiday, it's such a unique experience. But for those who are understanding what we're talking about, everyone I've spoken to have said about the holiday, like, you know, saying, oh, you know, you're missing your holidays, you miss doing this. And they're like, yeah, we just want to just experience that heat wave, like, and just enjoying it. A bit kind of like when we experienced it in Britain, it felt like a mini holiday then, you know, with us all being off work and kind of enjoying it in our back gardens. Funny enough, when you mentioned it tonight, when you said that you had a holiday with your friends and you were clubbing, that leads us on to nicely what we're talking about next week, which is all about nights out.
Yes, bring it on.
Which we kind of did discuss a few things, like we were talking about some of our tales of in the food podcast, but this is going to be in depth about all the best times, all our craziest times, the worst moments of our lives.
Oh, it's going to be fun.
Oh, it's going to be iconic. And I tell you, if you are listening, make sure you send us your nights out or your dream holidays to us. So if you hit us up on our Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, you can find us at RNB Fusion. And Ben, because I've actually learnt the email, but I feel like you should tell it because it's now your job to tell them what the email is.
Okay. The email is rnbfusion@outlook.com.
rnbfusion@outlook.com. There you go. What a wonderful way to send us your emails of your favourite holidays, or you want to send us from a previous pod that you think, oh, I've only just listened to this, I want to let them know that I want to talk about this, then go ahead and we may read you out on the show. But until next time, guys, it has been so lovely having you to listen to us and our ramblings about everything and anything. I've been your co-host, Ross, and this is my co-host,
Benni Boi.
and we will see you all very soon.
The intro to RNB Fusion podcast is Just Smile by Liquid. You can find this on soundcloud.com/liquid, and that is spelled LIQWYD. This falls under the Creative Commons Attribution 3.0, and you can also find this on YouTube under the channel Audio Library.